meeting to order.
Roll call, Sheila,
Here.
Donna. Here. The last meeting we had was in June, because July we didn't have. So we discussed, take action on paying the bills, we discussed and take action on taking Victoria Manka off the checks. We discussed and take action on putting Frank on the checks. Vera Baker presented us with a request for record inspection and or copy for her mother. We cannot give information about someone else's information without their approval, and the paper she presented us was notarized, so we don't know who signed it. But our bookkeeper said she would look into it. Meeting was adjourned at 7:11. Approved? Approved.
Second. Discuss and take action on paying bills.
Our DEQ annual public water supply, premium that we have to pay every year is due, September 30th, 2024, so that's gonna give us 2 months to gather up some money, but it's $2,162.92. PSO this month, one pump is $19.70, the other is $62.58. Vickers for the, rental of the, backhoe and all that stuff was $1,395. John Kramer is our accountant, and we pay him to do our quarterly payroll and taxes. So that's $90 that will be coming up. Of course, we'll pay payroll, and our AT&T bill is not in, so it's sometimes we pass them out whenever we have needs. So, regular bills.
Make a motion to pay the bills. Second. Discuss and take action on up-to-date, bylaws. Updated bylaws. You wanna talk about that?
So, let me put some of this stuff down. Okay, so, our bylaws are just, they need to be updated ever so often. And so one of the, to my recollection, I don't know that they've ever been updated. It wasn't with our original bylaws, and so there might have been a couple of updates, but not recently. So the bylaws, one thing that needed to be updated is that back a few years ago, Bradley Water Company Incorporated became Grady Rural Water District Number 3. And Grady Rural Water District Number 3 was never put on the bylaws. Now, all the paperwork shows that that Bradley Water Company Incorporated became Grady Rural Water District Number 3. But it just was never put on the bylaws, because everything transferred over to Grady Rural Water District Number 3. It just never was typed up to be like that. So I want to put Grady Rural Water District Number 3 on that. That's the first one. The second one is, in the bylaws right now, bills will be rendered for service by the 5th day of the month. They're rendered by the 1st day, but, so that's fine. Following in the which service was rendered as set forth at the rate schedule that it's supposed to be. Service bills not paid by the 16th of the month shall be subject to a 5% late charge. Now, 5% late charge, that was a long time ago. It's a $5 late charge now, so we want our bylaws to reflect what we do now. And then it says, a failure of the corporation to submit a service bill shall not be an excuse for the consumer from his obligation to pay for the water used when the bill is submitted. Failure to pay a bill by the first day of each month, the following month in which the bill is rendered shall result in disconnection of service. So how it's done right now, if it's not paid by the 15th, you're charged a $25 late fee. And then on the 25th, if your bill is not paid the following month, it is cut off. Now, we work with people, that I hate to cut somebody's water off. It just is terrible for somebody not to have water. So, we work with people on that, but they still get paid. They still get charged that amount. So our bylaws need to reflect what, not the 5%, but, you know, the fees that we charge now. Number 3 is, okay, requested meter test. Meters requested by consumers will be performed without cost to the consumer if the meter is found to be in excess of 2% fast. Otherwise, the consumer for whom the request test was made will be charged for the cost of the making of the test. And we're also, this will be an addition to what we have now. Document request. There is going to be a $25 research per hour fee plus $1 per page that anyone requests. They'll have to pay that up front to be able to get that. It's just customary anywhere you go anymore. You have to pay a research fee. Let's see. The 4th one is our membership, and everything stays the same except for it was a $25 membership fee back in the day, and I sure wished it was that still, but it's $350. So we just want to put our $350. Yeah, I didn't reflect that. 5 is it says the annual reporting of the members of the corporation to be held. It says at 7 o'clock, and this one says Tuesday of every month, but we're having our meetings on Mondays of every month, so I just wanted to update that. Instead of Tuesday, for it to say Monday, because that's what we're doing. And this talks about, this is number 6, and it's just a failure to pay the minimum monthly charge or failure to pay for water used through your meter shall constitute a forfeiture of the membership certificate on behalf of which such failures occur, provided that such membership certificate shall be reinstated if within 3 months after such forfeiture, all back charges are paid in full, plus the 6% interest and reasonable waiver charges necessary to effect such reconnections. As I stated previously, this is just kind of redundant of what we had said, how we charge now. It's not a 6% charge. It is a $5 late fee if you don't pay it by the 10th, and then it's an extra $25 if you pay it after the 15th. So instead of the 6%, we just want it to say, reflect how we charge. And then number 7 is right of access. Representatives of the corporation shall have the right at all reasonable hours to enter upon consumers' premises to read and test meters, inspect piping, and to perform other duties for the proper maintenance and operation of service, or to remove its meters and equipment upon discontinuance of service by consumers. So number 7 the change would be, representatives and board members from Grady Rural Water District Number 3 shall have the right to be safe and free from verbal and physical abuse and threats of violence, and to have the right at all reasonable hours to enter upon consumers' premises to read and test meters, inspect piping, and to perform other duties for the proper maintenance and operation of service, to remove its meters and equipment upon discontinuance or termination of service. Members violating rights of access shall cause termination of membership indefinitely with no refund. If consumer wishes to appeal the judgment of the board of directors, consumers may plead this case and hold a vote of the members at the next regular meeting after termination. The members' vote will be upheld by the board of directors. If not addressed at the following month of disconnection, case is closed and no other action can be taken. So that is a change and an addition to the right of access. Because we have had operators aggressively approached and things thrown at them and cussed, and no one should be treated like that. Whenever we're trying to pull meters or we're trying to fix things, people get mad because they don't have water, or because they don't have, or because it's running, brown, because, leaks happen and they have to be fixed. And it's nobody's fault, and nobody should have to be treated terrible. So those are the changes that we want to make.
Make a motion that we update the bylaws, and I second it.
I think everybody else should vote with that too. Everybody? Yes? Everybody in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Bylaws passed, or updated, or whatever. There wasn't very much to.
Okay, we're gonna discuss and take action on paying helper for Jeannie.
I figured you needed that. How y'all wanna handle that?
It'll have to be an hourly,
So we gotta figure out how to.
and, it'll be, it'll be whenever he needs them for the big leaks.
Okay, and how is that legally gonna be?
Huh?
Does there need to be
Contract.
maybe something like that where
Maybe a waiver even.
Yeah, a waiver maybe, not a contract, but a waiver to be signed by said helper that they are what is that called when you get paid hourly? Is it a contract worker?
Yes.
They are a contract worker,
laborer, that's what that is.
contract labor, and,
Independent contractor.
huh?
Independent contractor.
And that they hold us not liable for any injury.
That's a hold harmless agreement.
What? I'm
It's a
sorry.
hold harmless agreement, that's what that's for.
Okay. Do you know where that paper is? Do you know where that?
I can find one. If you need a hold harmless agreement drafted, I can do that.
Well, I don't want you to draft it, it's stuff that there'd be a place that you could look at
Yeah,
that
I
and
can-
see that, or,
I can
so if
find
you
that.
could find that and tell us where to look that up at. That way, they're good and we're good.
Okay, we can discuss it now, the election.
No, I know minimum wage is $7.25, but nobody's gonna probably stand out here knee deep sludge for $7.25.
We also need to discuss if we're going to have, there will be one helper at a time or several helpers at a time. Because that runs into more money.
Right.
I'm thinking,
We can always
If needed.
You
if
know, you
needed.
don't know, I mean,
Y'all have any thoughts on it? Because, I mean, you're,
How are
No,
you
like
gonna
she
choose
said,
the
you don't
helpers?
know.
That's- How are you going to choose who this helper is gonna be? Are you going to, advertise that there's a job opening
well, it's not
available?
really a job.
Or does the helper have to be a member of the rural water district? How's this gonna work? Cause it's not in the bylaws.
I'm busy all the time, but I've told Jamie, if I'm ever available, I mean, if I have to sign a piece of paper and I don't want no money, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'll help if I'm around.
well, I mean, I've helped Jamie before
Right,
too,
yeah.
and, I mean, most of us will help Jamie, but.
Like Donna said, there's nobody gonna stand in the water for that, you know what I mean? Even children, because the parents aren't gonna allow it, you know what I'm saying, for them to do that. I mean, as far as that low, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know how this meeting
I
works
think
like
it
the
will be
other. I
at
mean,
Jamie's
it's-
discretion as far as, I mean, cause it's who can help at
Right,
that
at that
particular
time,
time,
yeah.
I mean, because sometimes
you
Jeff
don't have a
can
lot
help,
of
and-
grown folks
No.
that are not out of this town working, I mean.
Like I say,
they're
we're
mostly-
busy during the day, but I've told him 100 times, if I'm around, y'all just bring this sheet of paper and I'll sign it anytime.
I've been in the hole before.
And I don't want,
and-
I don't want no money.
Yeah, I didn't want any money either.
Like you said, man's gotta have water, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
So I'm just happy when it comes
Yeah.
back
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Try living without it.
Yeah.
You wanna
I
take
imagine,
it?
that's what I'm saying, I mean, out of all my bills, I'd rather have water than anything, you know what I'm saying?
Life, that is life.
Yeah.
That's
Water is life.
My mother's been living without it for 16
So is this
years now.
meeting, like the town meeting, I mean,
Right.
is it something that we can discuss maybe amongst and bring up at the next meeting, or, I mean, as far as hourly, or what are we gonna do? I mean,
I mean, we can table it and come back to it.
I mean, I don't know, I mean, is that
But in
something,
the meantime.
is that something we need to discuss with Jamie, or, I mean,
Well, I think we need to say, yes, we can pay a helper.
I think we can pay a helper.
I agree with that, I mean, I honestly do.
We can pay helper and.
That's a hard job, I mean,
At a fixed rate, at $10 an hour, or, I don't know, I don't know, I mean,
I agree with $10 an hour.
How are you gonna keep track of the hours, though?
Yeah,
That's
okay.
another issue.
You have to depend on Jamie for it.
So what do you think?
I think we need to, I second it. Yeah.
$10 an hour?
There's been
Sound
quite a few leaks
reasonable?
lately.
yeah, I mean, you know,
You might wanna buy a canopy for him to work under.
he has one.
Okay.
I'll make a motion for the $10 an hour.
I second it.
Okay.
like I say, if somebody just bring me a waiver, I'll just go ahead and sign it, y'all file it, I don't want no money, you know what I'm saying?
I
If I'm
guess
ever
we'll put on
available.
there that the helper will sign a waiver,
Yeah.
we'll get a waiver.
There is some of the people that work for me, there's a something for workers' comp saying that they do not fall under the orders. So, I mean, I don't know what exactly.
I'll look it up.
I know that people sign waivers saying we're working at our own free will and we are not gonna hold the company
Right.
The water
liable for.
department is not liable for you working
Right.
on a water leak.
Right, you were, or that you're helping, I mean, they basically won't be
That's the
doing the
whole
water
purpose,
leak,
right?
they will just be helping
Like
Jamie.
dig in, take the tools.
Yeah.
Usually they'll be tied in with, if you got listed as contract labor,
Yeah.
because that's how I got by with not paying ridiculous
Yeah,
amount of
he
insurance.
knows,
Just have
I'll
the
look at it.
contract labor and a fixed rate, but yeah, I agree with Jeff, you definitely need a waiver, so they don't try to tie you up.
Right.
Get you.
Right,
Okay, I'll look it up, I'll go to the computer and look it up.
yeah.
Okay, we're moving on. And discuss old business.
Old business.
Vera, we looked for your mom's stuff, like I said, there was a flood, and there's several years of stuff that cannot be found.
That's okay.
It seems to
I
fall,
actually found all of her old water bills.
it seems to fall in the early 2000s to the latter part, I think 2008, is where we kinda picked up, so I'm sorry about that. We
did,
tried, we
We dug,
looked.
I got fiberglass from here to here.
Oh, hell, I hate that stuff.
There were spiders and everything else.
We
Well,
looked.
it might have needed to have been gone through and pulled out and cut someplace else.
Yeah, so there's nothing, I wish I had it. I wish I could produce it for today.
It's all right, I've got everything. Except for the records are requested, but if you don't have them, you don't have them.
Is that the only old business?
I think so.
Approve it? Unless, I don't think we have to do that. Anybody else got anything? I just think that also you need to tell them that, we welcome anybody that, if you have a discretion with water bills, I want everybody, if you have a discretion with it, take a picture, you know, around the 25th of your meter, and Natalie will be more than happy to.
Hey, I've
Look
messed
at
up
it.
before, 100%. I am not perfect. I know that just is outlandish, but, I have put too many zeros, or I've put a 9 instead of an 8, and, you know, I try to catch that whenever it happens. I'm like, hey, wait, this ain't right, cause somebody, you know, but I'm not perfect, so.
Now, did y'all say that somebody was gonna check the meters, see if they're running through?
What do you mean?
Did you mention something about someone checking the accuracy of the meters?
Oh, you have to request it.
Oh, really?
It is.
I was wondering, cause our gallons, the same as when we had the two kids here and swimming pool, and it's only my wife and I, and she's gone most of the time, and I'm gone half the time.
Well, I mean, I guess we can test your meter if you think that that needs to be tested. Otherwise, we'll put a new meter in and see if it goes down, you know, I mean,
I just don't see where we could use 5,000 gallons of water if nobody's there.
well, I'll tell you one way to check this, I mean, and, well, I'll ask Jamie if he will do, but I have done it's a 24-hour, I'm sure you know this thing, because you've been around the block a couple of times. But you read your meter at a certain time, and 24 hours later, you go back and read that meter, and you see how many gallons you've used in that period of time. We do that for, sometimes people think that they,
I don't know, all of them have a leak detector, their meter comes with those, because of that little black wheel that's on there.
yeah, so if that wheel is
Doesn't leak
spinning,
at all, that's how we check release in my business.
yeah.
You put a mark on her, and it'll tell you, go back here a couple hours, and if it hasn't moved off that mark, that's marked off one of yours.
Well,
There's no way you're leaking any water.
most of our meters have a spinner.
Yep, that's what it is, it's leak detector.
So if it is moving at all, then there's water going through the line. Where it's going, I don't know. We've had a gentleman that called and he was upset, and he said, I haven't used that much water, and I said, I don't think for a second that you've used that much water. That's, you know, you don't use that much water. But he didn't have a green spot, he didn't have, I mean, you would think, I mean, cause it was 30,000 gallons.
A toilet running will run more water than you know.
Oh, God, yeah.
And he said, I don't have nothing, I'm not staying here, and I was like, I understand, but this is, you can see your meter, and there, it is spinning. And he was like, well, my own toilet's not running. And I said, listen, go down there and go behind your toilet and turn it off. And he turned off his toilet, because
You
it
look at that
wasn't,
little black wheel, it'll tell you the same thing.
it was not going down his toilet, it was the back of it, and it was barely, you didn't hear it, it was just running over the top of it the whole time. So, he was like, well, that fixed that. So he had to get new guts to his toilet and da-da-da-da-da. Now, someone else, I've had that happen to before, because they're like, there's no way, and I said, is your toilet running? No, it ain't running. So I said, well, let me come in there. The toilet was not running, but whenever I took the back of that off, It was going right down the back of the toilet, so any number of things, but if you would like to have your meter checked, pulled, new meter put in.
Well, I'm reading it, to make sure, and if it does come off, cause I know we're not using that many gallons. No,
Well, if
that.
it-
And I know we don't have any leaks.
Yeah.
So just change it.
So you think, so have you read it? Has it showed something
Yeah, I'm
different?
reading it now.
Okay. So did,
I'm gonna go ahead, I read it last month, and of course, the 25th ain't here yet, so
yeah,
I can't
we'll
go
see.
file from one unit.
But
You need to read it.
the 24-hour bill is pretty accurate as well.
Well, if I go month to month, do the same time each day, it'll tell me exactly what I'm using.
That's just pretty, and you just subtract it and then round up to the nearest thousand. The new, okay, so I will say this, so the new, I know that some people, it's been harder for them with our new rates or whatever, it's harder for everyone, but I will say that financially, we aren't getting out of our savings, because we have savings, but anytime you're taking money out of a savings, that is
Well,
not
it's
good.
not much. It's
No.
not much savings.
No. And at one time,
But if we're
it was
renting,
$25,000, now it's down
but
to,
if we're renting a backhoe
Every
once or
month.
twice a month for $1,200,
but,
you're gonna have to use it 4 times.
but I will say that we,
And it's over.
didn't have to take money out of the savings. So, the rate hike is hard for everyone, and I hate it, myself included, but it was financially the right decision for the water company, for us to keep our water in-house and here in Grady. What was I gonna say? There was something else I was gonna say about that. Oh, about reading the meter. Anybody that, wants to read their meter or whatever,
And then basically, if it's 1,001, it catches it on the next month
Yeah.
because they're,
whatever money whatever usage you're using. So if you got charged $15 and you used, 12,101, and you got charged for 13,000 gallons. But the next month, you're not gonna use that 1,000, you're going to pay for whatever goes through your meter. So it's not gonna start from, 0 this month. You're gonna have that reading and you're gonna have this reading, and you subtract them, and that's gonna be your reading for the
So
following
in
month.
other words, you go the 1 gallon over, you are charged with 1,000, but then the rest of that 1,000 deducted next month.
That's exactly right. So, you can, and, we can't charge by the gallon, water by the gallon or whatever,
Well, I
or,
don't know if meter resale.
yeah, or 5,000 gallons or 500 gallons or whatever. So, one month you might be a little bit more, but the next month it just is gonna flip flop. It's within that range of, and that's why we always try to read on the 25th of every month. That way it stays so that you're not being charged for 34 days of reading. You're being charged for your 30 days of reading. That's why we try to do that. Stay on the 25th, 26th, during cold months, we're not gonna dig up every meter to read those.
I wouldn't use it.
No. So,
Getting down in ice and snow.
but that's how we do that. And I encourage people to read their meters because it just is great for me too, because they can call and say, hey, mine doesn't say that. And I'll say, well, tell me what your reading is. Well, it shouldn't say that because we got the meter reading. There's multiple times that we've had to go out and reread because sometimes we're wrong. Just how it is. So you want a new meter?
No.
No.
I'm
Well, it's not
gonna
gonna
pay
cost
for
you.
anything till I know.
it's not gonna cost you, but whenever you are ready for it. Putting the new meter's not gonna cost.
Just
Well,
let us know.
Is it?
but if his meter is okay, then
Yes, he can keep it.
Like I say, let me do a couple
Yeah.
readings on there and I can tell, cause I know for a fact we don't have a drop one leaking out of our house. We got 3 toilets in our house, but 2 are completely shut down, cause it's only my wife and I there. So I know there's no water running in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Now, even the upstairs shower is cut off dead, so there's no leaks in the
Yeah.
bathroom upstairs.
Yeah, if you, do that for a couple months and then you see that it is being, I mean, we need to know that too, cause, I mean, our readings will be off too,
I
because.
mean, I don't mind paying if we're using water, but I just don't see where
Sure.
5,000 gallons is going through our house, and
Right.
nobody's there.
Right.
I know my dog don't use it, boy.
Where's the water going, is just what you're saying, there's no sense in paying for something that you're not using or whatever, I get it. I'd be the same way. Just, you've got your reading, so you'll be able to do that. And if any time anybody has a problem with their bills, I mean, I'm happy to, reread it or do whatever it is that I gotta do to, that we can make it right. So,
Is that it?
I mean, I don't know.
Alright, guess we'll adjourn and.
I'll give you one thing here from now on, you're gonna have to probably get hold of somebody else, because I won't be on the board.
Oh, no.
Nobody wants to work with each other out here, and I'm tired of it. I came on for a year anyway, my year's up.
We don't want you to quit.
Yeah, I don't wanna quit either, but I'm not gonna let it was a hard deal going around.
They adjourn the meeting.
I guess we adjourn the meeting.
I-
It is
I
7:39.
second.